Hello and welcome to the Southeast Iowa Union News Break. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. Getting into the top stories, Iowa State Auditor Rob Sand held a town hall in Washington Thursday afternoon, part of his annual tour of the state. The town hall was attended by roughly 24 people, many of whom brought questions for the auditor. Municipal budget audits came up early. Sand said his office, as well as its private sector counterparts, were sometimes stretched too thin for routine city reviews. While the auditor's office has held a steady number of staff for years, the industry as a whole has not. For smaller cities, Sand said full audits were often off the table. If they don't spend over $1 million and they have under 2,000 people, they only get a periodic exam, he said. It's not a full-blown audit, but we do go in, we do the regular staff, and then we issue a report that tells them what they need to change. Then somewhere in the next 8-year period, they will have a repeal examination. One example is the city of Brighton, where municipal officials requested extensive auditing from the state earlier this year in response to accusations surrounding the fire department budget, but were instead granted only a periodic examination. In cases like that, Sand said there was no bright line for the office to take action, but a series of factors to consider. For places like Brighton, if they haven't had their review yet in that 8-year cycle, we'll say, okay, we'll do your review this year, he said. If they already have, then it's a question of how serious the allegations are. That can be a factor. Our workload, again, that can be a huge factor. Private school vouchers also came up. Sand said he opposed efforts by the Reynolds administration to support private schools, which he said were less accountable. One of the reasons I'm concerned about it is that that's a lot of money that's then going to a place that's less transparent, he said. You should be able to see what's going on with your tax dollars. If it's going to an entity that doesn't have the same reporting obligations to the public, you simply don't have the same opportunities. Sand joined some at the meeting in criticizing statewide initiatives that have consolidated decision-making authority in Des Moines rather than at the county and city level. With the issue in the hands of the state legislature, the auditor said he favored less polarizing electoral systems like ranked choice voting and open primaries as an indirect solution to the erosion of home rule. Sand said the auditor's department took efforts to be nonpartisan while he's running for re-election in November as a Democrat. He said he did so begrudgingly. I registered as a Democrat for the same stupid reason that independents don't have a right to participate in primaries. I wanted to enfranchise myself, and so I picked my poison. I haven't forgotten that it's my poison. Organizers say the 33rd annual craft fair this weekend will host a whopping 117 vendors, more than any year before. While every spot is booked, the chamber is still adding vendors to the wait list due to the potential of people canceling. The criteria of craft vendors is intentionally broad. The day brings in everyone from painters to candle makers to boutique owners to cooks. The event runs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday, September 10th in Washington Square. In the event of severe weather, the rain date is set for September 17th. We do have weather coming up. We can take a look at Saturday, but first we have obituaries. Thomas Robinson Wolfe of Coralville passed away on July 28th at the age of 95. Graveside services will be held at 11 a.m. on September 24th at Friends Cemetery in Richland. Lansing Funeral Home and Cremation Services of Iowa City is in charge of the arrangements. Cecilia Loving of Richland passed away on September 7th at the age of 71. Arrangements are pending at Gold Funeral Home in Richland. Charles Mike Rutgeber of Independence, Missouri passed away on September 7th at the age of 79. Funeral services will be held on September 10th at 1 p.m. at the First United Methodist Church in Mount Pleasant. That was the obituaries. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we will have the weather and sports.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
Welcome back to the Southeast Iowa Union Newsbreak. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. We have sports coming up, but first the weather.
The weather is brought to you by Jacqueline Areola, LLC.
Come visit Jackie in her new location downtown. She is ready to serve Washington and the surrounding community. Today's weather has been great with sunny skies and a high of 87. Looking ahead to the weekend, tomorrow it will be partly cloudy with a high of 83 and a low of 67. Sunday looks like it's going to be chilly and rainy, an 80% chance of rain, and a high of only 66. The rain for Monday has been taken out of the forecast, although there is still a 25% chance. The high will be 68 and the low will be 54. It will start to warm up on Tuesday with sunny skies and a high of 78. That was the weather. It is now time for sports.
Sports, brought to you by Fairway.
It's going to be another busy Friday night in small school area football this weekend. The local 8-player teams continue district play as squads in Class A, 1A, and 2A begin to wrap up non-district play. Mid-Prairie, who's 2-0 on the season, goes up against Iowa City Regina, who is 1-1 on the season. The Golden Hawks have started the 2022 season hot, picking up a pair of close wins over West Burlington and Sigourney Keota. Senior running back Braden Hartley has been nearly unstoppable, rushing for 417 yards and 3 touchdowns so far this season. Mid-Prairie has a tough test as the Golden Hawks hit the road to take on Regina. The Eagles beat West Burlington 49-14 last week after a 31-0 shutout loss to Williamsburg in Week 1. Wilton is at Highland. Highland is 0-2 on the season, while Wilton is 2-0. The Huskies have had a rough go of it, having to play East Buchanan and Columbus on back-to-back weeks. Highland has yet to score any points. Highland's Luke Guzman and Colton Seifert have combined for most of the team's yards, all on the ground. Guzman and Seifert have rushed for 82 yards and 66 yards, respectively. Number 2 8-player Waco, who is 3-0 on the season, is at English Valleys, who is 0-2 on the season. The Warriors look to keep their dominant start to the season going on the road. Waco comes in averaging 53 points per game, thanks in part to 9 total touchdowns each for quarterback Isaac Oswald and running back Simeon Rickenbach. English Valley's Trayton Shaw has rushed for 223 yards this season, but no touchdowns. The Bears passing game has thrown 4 interceptions and has no scores. That is the news for Washington and the surrounding area today. I've been your host, Nick Steffens. This is the Southeast Iowa Union Newsbreak, and I will see you next time.